How are you feeling this event?
I just want to say I'm so very grateful for everyone for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed what we had to show tonight, and just the fact that everyone is here to just support local creatives and just like young students. I'm just overwhelmed. Like I just want to say thank you to each and every person.
One question I was actually wondering, and I never asked you this. When you were writing the film, did you imagine that you were going to make it at this scale and that this low budget quality would match the aesthetics of the film?
I mean, so going into the film, I knew we were working with some like really talented people, both on the crew side and on the cast side, obviously. And thankfully, we were able to create this on like a $250 budget, which is like pretty insane. But that's thanks to Dario for his expensive ass camera. Essentially, like we didn't have to pay for a camera or anything. Thank you to Dario for that. And honestly, just like utilizing the what's it called, stuff available to us at TMU, like we all the sound equipment and stuff like that, a lot of lighting just came from TMU, so it was really cheap. And then as for the production scale, no, like definitely not. I didn't think I'd be showing this in front of like this many people. Like, I mean, I had good hopes for the film. I believe in the film, but just the overwhelming response today has just been unbelievable. So, yeah.
I mean, about the amazing score by Parseptchien. Like, how did you and Callum kind of discuss this score together? I mean, how did you build all this world?
Okay, yeah, it's interesting you asked that. So Callum and I were introduced from Mason Klein, one of the main actors in the film. I was roommates with Callum and introduced me to Callum, and like one of the first questions I asked once I found out Callum was in a music program, I asked him like who his main inspirations were, and one of those people was a guy by the name of Daniel Lopatin, who's also known as like his artist name's 106 Point Never, and he did the score for like the Safdie brothers movies, and that's like my main like inspiration, I'd say. And so once I found out that Callum's main inspiration was like a guy who did one of my favorite film scores, I just felt like so lucky to know this man. Like, and the more I got to know Callum, the more I realized like what a genius he is. Like, I hope you guys noticed this. It blew my mind. So yeah, that's basically to answer the question.
I guess I can open up the questions to the audience. Does anyone have any questions? Right there.
Oh shit. The shot of the Fruit Loops, I really like that. What was the thought process behind that?
Thanks, Mason. Thanks for that question. So the shot of the Fruit Loops, I'm gonna leave that up to audience interpretation. However, I will say, it could have been taken. In the back of that shot, you can hear some like typing and then like the calling, where Mason appears in the next screen. But by the end of the film, it was kind of just left in for fun because, like, I don't know, a couple people told me to take it out, a couple people told me to leave it in, and then by the end, I just kind of want to leave it in to make Mason Klein angry.
Was it based off of or inspired by the personal experience you had?
Thank you for that question. It was not based off a personal experience I've had. However, okay, here I'll try to explain my inspiration. So I'm from Vancouver. I moved here for school, and my mom was really worried about that. My mom like always thinks like, oh my god, the worst thing's gonna happen to you. So like my inspiration behind the film is like, imagine you putting yourself in a parent's perspective. Like this is like the worst possible situation that could happen to your child when you send them away for university. So that's like kind of like the basis of what I was going into it with. Thinking from my mom's perspective and like what's the wildest thing she could dream up. And then from there, I just met so many like amazing people, and then like they, honestly, most characters in the film are based off like the person that I know them to be. Like there's not a lot of like acting in the film. People are mainly acting as themselves, except for Dario. But yeah, that's yeah.
Thank you.
One right here.
Why the Goonies? Good question. I felt like the Goonies kind of like breaking the Goonies down to its like base level. It's a group of friends trying to accomplish a task. This task is a lot different than the task they're trying to accomplish in Bystander. But I just like that kind of like friendship of the Goonies working together to like, I don't know, it's been a while since I actually finished that movie. I think they find a treasure in the end or something like that, but there's no treasure in the end of The Bystander, but they were able to get their friend back, so that's kind of like the connection that I made. And then, I don't know, I wanted to see if we get a copyright strike, so.
We have time for one more question.
What was your biggest challenge, whether in production or post-production?
I could talk about this for a while. I think we ran into every single problem we could face not in production, but in post-production. We had to work with, like, this is our first time trying to accomplish anything like this, and I'm sure we made every mistake possible. And I hope that the final project doesn't reflect those mistakes, because Jackson McMurdo and I worked extremely hard. This is not even my main thank you to Jackson, but just give a little round of applause for Jackson now. But yeah, just know, yeah, we ran into about every problem we could, and it's good because we learn from it and then going forward. Honestly, I'm so glad to be able to show you this project, but I'm glad that we were just able to work through every problem. Like like having these problems now, knowing what to do with the problem in the future will be like, I feel like that's the main, like what we accomplished with Bystander is just like knowing how to produce and like post-produce a film. Essentially. It's like,
Yeah, one more question. Okay, sure. Yeah, Susan.
Oh yeah, I would just like to know, like, how was the whole process of like sourcing equipment, locations, and like planning everything? Like, how did that go for you, I guess?
Yeah. So, okay, I'll start with location scouting because that was like kind of the first thing we did, and we wanted to make this a film, like not a blatantly Toronto Metropolitan University film, but we shot in every single dorm building in TMU, and so like I feel like we wanted to keep the locations as close to TMU as possible. So like, if a student 5 years from now were to somehow see this film, they'd be like, oh, I know where that is, or I know DCC, I know Pittman, I know ILC. So we wanted to keep it as close to campus as possible for like,
Shout out Pittman.
Like ease of access reasons, and for kind of just like to have something like TMU people could like, I don't know, look at it and be like, oh, I know where that stuff was made. But okay, sorry, I went really off topic there. Location scouting. Dario Butera was like the assistant director on this program or on this film. He and I worked really hard planning out like locations beforehand, and then we just like shot lists and like had everything planned. We didn't follow the shot list, but at least we had one to work off of. But yeah, the pre-production process lasted about like a month and a half, and mainly it was just like script, like going through scripts, making sure that the dialogue that I wrote for characters matched like the way that they wanted to speak, and obviously locations. And shout out Carrot, by the way, for letting me use it. Huge. And then yeah, other than that, just try to fit it in like in between classwork as much as possible. But it took longer than it would if we were like dedicated on it. But yeah, about a month and a half of pre-production, location scouting, scripts, like script rewriting and stuff like that.
Yep. I feel bad. One more question. I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, is the final product different from how you initially envisioned it?
I feel like I can't fully answer that question without remembering like what I fully envisioned. But it was interesting. I actually recently got sent a VHS footage of me originally pitching this project to a couple people. Mason filmed the VHS, and it was really interesting to see like where I was at that very, very, very early stage with the project. The biggest difference I can think of between the original idea and the finished project was originally I kind of wanted each character to be aware of the camera, so it's kind of like a mockumentary, almost like fake documentary of their life. But I abandoned that idea pretty quickly, just because I just felt like I was trying to do too much. But other than that, honestly, surprisingly, the final product is pretty close to what I envisioned. There's a couple more mistakes that I'd like, and a couple more, it's hard to make like the image in my mind to like get it onto the screen, but I feel like we did with what we had, we did the best job possible. I guess I don't want to say that, but the team worked really hard on making sure that the film came out. So yeah.
So I got news that a red Jeep and a white Mercedes got towed in front.
The red Jeep hasn't gotten towed yet.
But the red Jeep hasn't gotten towed.
Needs to go and move it. Really hard. The white Mercedes has been towed though.
So I hope that's not your car.
No, I paid for my parking.
Babes, I don't got money for either, bro, so I'm good. As long as the Volkswagen's in place, I'm good. I'm chilling. That's why you have to get your mommy to drop you places. Your mommy? That's true. My mommy.
From what I can hear from you, man, did you ask why is it called Bystander? So, that's another one I can't really give you an answer because there's no character in the film that is truly a bystander. But let me try to explain. So I feel like if you really try in your brain, you can make a situation where each character in the film plays a bystander role at some point. But the whole idea behind the film was these friends, they see my friend here, Dixon, get pretty early on, and they had the choice. The characters in the story had the choice. Are we gonna rely on other outside help to get our friend back, which would be the bystander role? You just see something happen and you let other people deal with it. But truly, it should probably be called not bystanders because they actually did something to help. They got their friend back eventually. Thank the Lord. But good question. But I don't really have an answer for you. I'm sorry about it. It sounds kind of cool. I don't know.
So unfortunately, we have to wrap this up. Declan, do you have any last words you want to give to them?
I have many last words. Sorry, this is gonna take a minute. Just working with people. I want to thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate the support for local art and young creatives. I especially want to thank everyone from the class of 2026 TMU Film Program. For coming to support a lot of their classmates, I'm very grateful for that. I truly feel as though the more we are open to collaboration and taking advantage of our resources through the school, the more we're going to get out of our program. So I hope going forward, we're working. I also want to say a huge thank you to Alice, Yeji, Phil, and everyone else involved with from Wave Studios and Bevy. They made their space available for us, and they dedicated many, many, many hours of their time to planning and organizing this event. Going forward, I also want to highlight a few individuals who dedicated countless hours to help Bystander come to life. First, I want to acknowledge the cast. Many of whom hadn't acted before. I thought everyone killed their roles, even when put in difficult and awkward situations, such as approaching strangers with the image of Dixon's like that was real. And these people that you saw in the film, they don't know they're in the film, so don't tell them.
Imagine someone from
Yeah, so many cast members even had to sacrifice in class to shoot, which I'm extremely, extremely grateful for. Also, everyone behind the scenes working as a crew for adapting and flourishing in their role over the period of production. Jackson, James, Camille, Jess, Daniel, Misan, thank you. I also want to highlight my friend Dario Butera for his effort in the pre-production stage of this film. Dario and I spent weeks planning, and he taught me how important it is to be organized when transitioning from pre-production to the actual shooting. On top of that, he acted in 2 roles within the film, growing his hair and beard out for 2 months for one character, and then letting me shave it all off for the other. Additionally, I'd like to highlight Jackson McMurdo. He and I both I can't stress enough, wildly underestimated the amount of time the post-production process would take. But Jackson never backed down. He learned new software and spent hundreds of hours in front of the screen on Premiere Pro, rapidly becoming extremely proficient at sound design while he was at it. I also want to thank Callum for producing an original score for this film. It's just clicking for me how much of a genius Callum is, and I hope that through his performance you're starting to understand as well, because I'm so excited to see where this guy goes. Finally, I'd like to thank this man right here. See, Justin not only acted in Bystander, but he also assumed the executive producer role. And it worked extremely, extremely hard to ensure that this event happened. Not only that, this man is a networking genius. Through his connections, we were able to make tonight possible. Genuinely. I'm not lying to you when I say this event would be a figment of my imagination without Justin. Thank you so much.
Alright, well, again, thank you so much for everyone for coming, making this event come true. Have a drink with our artists, make some new friends, enjoy the rest of the night, and hopefully we see you guys at our next screening.